As Dio was fighting Jotaro, Dio was winning, but then Jotaro would trick Dio by using his own time pause ability. This made Dio lose, as Dio fell to the floor dead. Jotaro thought it was over, and it was over for him, but little did he know that Dio would live on in a way, as Dio's body burnt with the sun. As every part of Dio was gone, Dio would wake up, his soul in a new place. As he looked around, he saw buildings everywhere. He saw strange creatures walking around. He was confused. He didn't know where exactly he was. As he was walking around, he would see an imp. As he would ask him, "Where the hell am I and what are you?" he would laugh and say, "You're in hell. Looks like you're new." "Hey, since you're new in hell and you look kind of pissed, did someone screw you over? If so, I could kill them." Dio would look at this person confused. It was Blitzo. Blitzo would tell about his business, IMP, Immediate Murder Professional. But then he would laugh and say, "You couldn't kill Jojo even if you wanted to, little pipsqueak." He would say, "What the hell are you calling?" But then he would freeze time. As Dio would look around, his stand appeared to still work. As he would hit Blitzo, it wouldn't be enough to kill him, but he would start to hit Blitz up. As Blitz fell to the floor and began to bleed, Dio simply left. He looked around. He was bored. He needed to do something, anything, but he didn't know what it was. He wanted to get back to Earth. He wanted to get revenge, but he simply didn't know how. Maybe if he got good with the people here, he can convince them to let him go up. Maybe if he played nice, but who's even here? Who even runs hell? The devil? As Dio was walking, he would see himself in a mud puddle. The puddle, he looked different. He looked like a stereotypical vampire from one of those kid TV shows. His skin was purple. His teeth was going through, just like the one on Sesame Street. He was pissed. This hell mocked Dio. Dio was a great man. Dio was like a god. He had power among everyone, and yet they mock him. Yet they make him look like a damn cartoon character. He was pissed. He'll make hell pay for this. As he sighed, he kept on walking. Dio wanted to become friends with someone high up so that he can go back to Earth. And this hell seemed different from what he heard. He heard hell would be eternal torture. True, there's different religions with different versions of hell, but none of them describe this place. Dio was confused, yet he was excited too. He was excited to test out his powers here, and maybe to learn something to make him even stronger. After all, these demonic beings must know some sort of power he can use against Jotaro once he gets back to Earth. As Dio was walking around, he would see an ad on a TV. As he would look through the glass, it was Lady Killjoy, and she talked about Charlie's delusional dream, calling her the Princess of Hell. Dio had a plan. If he can become friends with the Princess of Hell, then maybe he can be put back to Earth. But he had no idea what she was like. He expected her to be menacing, so he had his guard up. He would walk to the hotel and knock on the door. As Charlie answered, she looked at him and said, "What do you want?" She sighed, but then she looked around. She realized he was a sinner. Was this what she expected? He would say, "I'm here to be redeemed, madam." As suddenly she would hug him and say, "Oh my God, finally, someone who actually believes in my dream. This is so exciting. You'll get to meet Angel, Alastor, and everyone. Come on." She quickly pulled him in. Dio didn't like being touched like that, but he needed her, so he didn't really say anything. And, well, he was just shocked. He thought the Princess of Hell would be menacing like him, maybe have control, but she acted super nice. She brought him around the hotel, showed him in the bar, showed him Alastor, showed him Angel Dust. Angel Dust would look and say, "You look like a vampire. Are you gonna bite me, bad boy?" As Dio looked at him and just sighed, "Your blood doesn't even look tasty. Besides, I don't bite. I absorb blood from my fingers." Angel Dust would say, "Oh, is that so?" And Dio would say, "You think I'm joking?" He would simply laugh and stand up. "I need a volunteer. Don't worry, I won't drink all your blood. Just a few drops to show off my power. Who wants to do it?" Charlie would say, "I don't think that's a good idea." But if he said, me, I love pain and bad boys." She would run over to Dio as he would pick her up and start to eat some of her blood. As his fingers steeped into her arm, he started to absorb blood. As it started to go limp, he put her back down and said, "Oh, I wanted you to drink me dry. You're such a bad boy." Dio would look at her and say, thank you. Dio saw her as a good minion, but she was kind of creepy and, well, maybe a little too crazy to control. Without one of those flesh buds, at least. As time went on, days would pass, and people would start to get used to Dio. Dio put on a fake charm and charmed people. Just like in the original show, when he was pretending to be friends with Jonathan Joestar. However, Alastor could see through this charm. So could Husk. This pissed them off. They were used to seeing through bullshit. Alastor didn't know what Dio wanted, but he could tell he was very powerful. And he thought maybe the bees sent them to destroy this place. One day, as Dio would be in his room, simply laying there, not sleeping. And Dio was a creature of the night. But in hell, the weird sun thing didn't even burn him. So now, he could go out in day and night. So he didn't really know what to do. This would be a blessing if he was on Earth. He could take over the world. But here, people are so powerful. And even though he could take over hell, he didn't want to. He wanted to go back to Earth. He needed to kill the Joestars. He needed to get his revenge. Suddenly, Alastor would walk into the room and say, "What's your deal?" Dio would look at him and smirk. "I just want to get out of hell. What's wrong with that?" Alastor would say, "I know you're hiding something, alright? I try to put on a smile, but you're really making me..." Suddenly, Alastor would fall to the floor as blood came down from his face. As he said, "What happened?" Dio would laugh and say, "Foolish, pathetic demon. I'm far stronger than you could ever imagine. I thought people in hell would be powerful, would be menacing, but I was wrong. They're weak and pathetic like you." Alastor would get mad, but before he could do anything, suddenly, he would be fallen down the stairs. Dio used his time stop ability to throw him down without him even seeing what happened. Alastor was defeated. He's never seen someone that strong before. Well, never seen a sinner that strong before. He got up, and he did what he had to. He left. Alastor was mad that he lost so easily. But Dio was happy, and Dio needed to learn some dark magic, so he got into spells and tried to learn some demonic powers. He learned here and there, but nothing that made him too overpowered. As the days went on, eventually Lucifer himself would visit the hotel. As this was going on, Dio had his chance. He would go to Lucifer and say, "Can I talk to you about something important?" Lucifer would look at him and say, "Sure." Dio would take Lucifer away. As Lucifer would say, "What is it?" Dio would then freeze time. "Pathetic. I thought you would have had stands or some way to fight against this. How come no one's taken over hell before?" Lucifer would look at him and say, "It's not nice to call someone pathetic." Dio would fall down, shocked. He said, You can walk here? Of course I can." Stands are extremely rare. That's why many demons don't have a defense against them. And it's even rarer to bring it in when you die. However, since you were undead, you were able to bring your stand with you. Interesting. "So what is this deal you want?" "I hope you're not going to hurt my daughter," he said as he looked at him menacingly. Dio would shake and say, "No, sir, I... He got up as he began to dust himself off and give off that Dio charm as he smirked. "I want to go back to Earth, and I've heard about the extermination, but my calculations, they'll come straight for her. If I can defeat Adam, will you bring me to Earth?" "Adam, huh? The head of the extermination? You know. He's gonna be able to see through your cheap little trick like this." "But sure, if you can defeat him, I'll bring you back to Earth. However, since your body was destroyed, I'll have to make a compromise. Deal?" Dio says deal, but then Lucifer would look at him and say, "Don't fail me, Dio. I know you're a cold-hearted bastard, but if my daughter gets hurt, if my daughter dies, you'll suffer the consequences." As then Lucifer would say, "Sorry about that. I come off of a little, let's say, threatening when it comes to my daughter. Here's a ducky." He would throw him a ducky and leave. Dio looked at the ducky as it breathed fire, as he just threw it away. Dio then had a plan, however. As the days passed, Extermination Day finally came, and the great battle started. Alastor was fighting Adam just like in canon, but Adam had the upper hand. As he was starting to beat Alastor, suddenly, he would hear something. "Row, row, 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 row!" As it was Dio, his stand had brass knuckles. These brass knuckles had angelic weapons on it. He used an angelic weapon, melted it down, and turned it into a brass knuckle. This was able to break Adam's arms and legs, as Dio looked at him and said, "I know you could see my stand, and you could see the powers when I freeze time." Alastor would say, "So that's your trick? You can freeze time?" Dio would laugh and say, "Perfect, right? You're such an idiot, Adam. All I did was let someone weaker distract you so I can take you out. So pathetic. Honestly, you make me ashamed to even fight you." He picks up Adam by the neck as Adam said, "Shut the fuck up. You think you can take me on? I am Adam, the first man on Earth. You should..." Dio would simply say, "Shut up." As then he would grab his eyes and rip them out of his head and start to pulverize him with his stand and laugh. He pulverized him till there was nothing left. Then he drank his blood. As he got up and smirked, "This blood makes me feel stronger." As he jumped down, with Adam dead, Dio easily took care of the rest of the extermination crew, except for Loot. Loot would charge at Dio. As he smirked, suddenly tentacles would go up and grab her. And she said, "What the hell?" He would say, "I learned this one from Alastor," as then he summoned his stand. As he punched Loot so hard, her head came right off. Charlie was shocked, and she was a little disgusted with how violent it was, but they won, all thanks to Dio. Charlie said, "You did it, you saved us. Now we can..." Dio would say, "Shut up. I wasn't here to be redeemed, I was here to get back on Earth, and now finally I can do so." Lucifer would join. As he walked towards Dio, Dio would say, "A deal's a deal." Lucifer would sigh and say, "Yeah, you're right." Charlie would say, "Dad, what's going on?" "I made a deal. If he saved you, he can go back to Earth. I care about you, Charlie, and I love you. I had to do this. Besides, look at him. He's truly evil. There's not a chance in hell he'll ever be redeemed." As Lucifer and Dio shook hands, suddenly, Dio would wake up in Joseph Joestar's body. He did get his blood, so that would be an excuse for him to wake up. After all, he did have some of his DNA inside of him. He would play the long game, but Dio had a plan. He would kill Jotaro when he least expected it. Then he would take the mask and start his vampire journey all over again. And that is where we're going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I was thinking about doing a series, What If Dio Won? I think that could be unique. And he's already kind of the main character, since an entire season was about his son. He came back for another season. But this time, he'll be more of a main character. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video so far down in the comments below. And let me know if you want any series with Dio, because he's the best Johto character. I mean, there are other JoJo what-ifs that I could do. Crossovers, things of that nature. Maybe in What If They Lost, or What If This Happened, and you can suggest your ideas. But I have not seen it all yet. I am down to the last season. I haven't finished that. So when it is, I can do one about his son and things like that. But until then, I just want to do some about Dio, Jotaro, and things like that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video so down in the comments below. Peace out.